Hey guys, welcome to a new series which will recur every single Friday, and it is called Airchatty Fridays. So each Friday we are going to share a new video with the integration between Airchatty, the CRM, and UChat itself. So in this week's video, we want to showcase how you can sync leads between the chatbot and your Airchatty account, as well as from Airchatty towards your UChat account, right? So your UChat chatbot. So those are two ways that you can sync leads with each other. And the way to do that, the first step is if we go towards my Omni-Channel chatbot, for example, you can ask a few questions, right? So you can basically segment the user that way. And then when you are at the point of syncing, then you will be able to use the native integration that UChat has. So let me show you how it works. For now, we'll just set up one text block. So let's say we have something like this. This could be a closing conversationer, right? And then we will be able to continue towards the next step. Go with an action block. Inside this action block, we're going with integrations. And then we are going with CRM version 2 API. The videos on how to connect the two different versions, I will link down in the video description because we already recorded that. So I will skip those two integration parts because that is easily accessible through the links in the description and also on the cards on top. So for now, let's go with the CRM version 2 API. And let's say we want to create a contact. So we can go with the create contact. We can fill in all the names. So we have access to all our variables. So let's go with first name. Let's go with last name. Let's go with, well, the name, we could just go with first and last name, or username if it's pre-filled, but let's just go with first and last name. That's fine. Then let's go with the email system field, phone number as well, just in case. And then we can fill in all the address details as well, if we have them, right? So here we can also add tags if we like to. And as you can see, if you want to include multiple tags, then you will be able to do so by separating them by comma. So let's go with these two tags for now. And if you want to include custom fields, you will need to do a little bit of a JSON format. As you can see here, we would have an ID, right? So that would be a custom field. This ID would need to match the ID that you have in your Airchatty account. And then you have a field value, which you can basically implement. I will leave those blank for now. So let's also enter some test values. So let's just use my name for now. So let's go with these test values. And let's say we are going to test the request. So if we do this, you will see that we get some data back, right? Important to note is that we can map several things like custom fields, like types, right? We can also map the contact ID, which is really important because if we want to update anything, either on the CRM side or through the chatbot, we will need this contact ID. And the way to save this, we actually implemented a system field for this. So let's go with the contact ID. We're going to save this inside the custom, or the system field rather, CRM contact ID. So let's search for CRM. And you will see that we have a system field here called CRM contact ID. And soon as we press add, then it will show up at the bottom. If you want to map anything else, that's totally fine. You can do so. And as you can see, we have email lowercase, bounce email, unsubscribe email, phone number. We can also update the country if we like to. By default, it's set to Australia. So you might want to update this. And again, you can update that really simple by just implementing this, right? So just filling in all the details, and that way you can also map the country. For now, this should suffice. So if we say save, then this contact ID will now be attached towards this specific user. If we go and take a look inside the CRM itself, so if I go back towards my UChat dashboard, and you have integrated using the integration CRM version 2, you will also be able to log in directly from the UChat dashboard. So that way you don't have to switch between the two platforms. So if we go towards contacts right now, you should see my contact that I just created with a test, and you will see it here. And as you can see, the tags with restaurant owner and lead that I implemented are also there. So this is the way that you can sync data from the chatbot over towards your Airchatty account. But how do we do it the other way around? It's actually pretty simple. So we are going to set up an automation for this inside the CRM. And inside the CRM, let's go with automation. And then we need to set up a workflow. Let's create a new workflow by pressing the button Create Workflow. From here, we're going to go with Start from Scratch. I think that's the most easy one. Yeah, so let's go with Start from Scratch, create a new workflow. Then we need to implement a trigger. So the trigger will be contact created. And let's say save the trigger all the way at the bottom. Then we can go with add first action. And if we scroll down, you can also search in the search action list. Let's go with webhook. We can now post the data towards a webhook. And for this, we can actually go inside of UChat, inside the chatbot, and go with the inbound webhooks feature, where we can create a new contact. So let's go towards tools, inbound webhooks, and let's say we are going with a Airchatty new contact. Let's press save. And now let's go and press edit. From here, we can copy the webhook URL. So that is important because we need to fill that inside this webhook automation, right? So let's fill that in. Then we can also basically give any other kind of custom data that we want to. So if we have any kind of extra custom fields or any other data that we want to put in, then we can easily do so. Same goes with headers. I will just leave them blank for now, and I will just say save action. And then you will see that we have a webhook and then the finish line, unless you want to implement something else. But for us, this is more than sufficient. So let's rename this workflow. So let's call it like this. There we go. And we can now also say publish. Upon publication, we can also press save. And we can now get the message workflow has been saved. So let's test this out to see if we get any additional information, right? So let's actually let the webhook listen for data. There we go. And now let's go back inside the CRM, Airchatty, and let's create a new contact. So let's say contacts. Let's say add a plus, add a new contact. And let's say this will be John, this will be Doe, and this will be John Doe at doe.com. We can choose a contact type. So we could have lead or customer. So let's go with lead for now. We can also select a time zone if we like to. So let's just select my own time zone, which will be GMT +1. And then you will also be able to D&D all channels. So let's go with that. Let's say save. So let's see if the webhook has been triggered and we receive data. So if we press done, you will now see that we get a lot of data back from that contact created. So we have the first name, we have the last name, full name, we have the contact ID, which is really, really important, right? So we can actually save a lot of data here. Let's say we are going to preview the data and we want to save the most important thing, which is the contact ID. And the contact ID we can just map. And what we want to do here, I'm going to map this. I'm going to save it into the system field. So let's say CRM contact ID. Let's press add. But what we also want to do is basically match the CRM contact ID, as you can see here. But we also want to search for this CRM contact ID. So let's just implement it here. There we go. This will be the output. But if the contact ID is not found or any of the other available options, right? We have the option to select where a new user is being created, either in web chat or in WhatsApp. So let's select web for now, right? And then let's press save. So let's first create a new contact and let's see if it actually creates this new contact in my bot users overview. So let's head back towards the CRM. Let's go with a new contact again. And let's say this contact will be, and the rest I will leave as such as well. So let's say press save. There we go. Conversation began. And now if we go back, you will see that we have the details for Mark Smith. If we go back inside the webhook, so let's see and check the logs. We should now have a successful entry, and you will see that we now also have a success status. So if we take a look here, Mark Smith and marksmith@gmail.com has been entered. We have the contact ID, which is also saved. So let's see if this also created a new bot user that we can use. And as you can see, once we search for that specific user and SID, you will now see that the new bot user from WebChat has been created. The name, of course, that's a little bit random because we did not save the name inside the webhook. So that is something that we can still do. So if we go towards the inbound webhooks and let's say we're going to preview the payload, we can also map the first name, of course, and map that towards the first name system field. Then we have the last name, which we can also map towards the last name. There we go. And let's also go with the full name, which we can map towards the username. And let's press add. Let's press save. And let's add one more contact from the CRM and see if we get the correct value in now. And let's say save. There we go. This user has now been created. So if we go back and see the logs themselves, we should now get the bot user Peter Smith. So if we check this, let's close this log entry. Let's go towards bot users. Let's take a look if Peter Smith has actually been created. And as you can see here, Peter Smith has been created. And if we take a look at the credentials, you will see that we have the email, we have the first name, the last name, the username, and basically everything that we need right here. We also have the CRM contact ID, which is a system field, but is saved under the custom user fields because it's specific towards this customer or this bot user, right? But you can see that you can have a two-way sync between the chatbot and your Airchatty CRM and from Airchatty back towards your chatbot. So this way you will never miss a new lead again. Still, agents that only work through the CRM are able to create new contacts that will also end up as a bot user inside of your chatbot. And from your chatbot, an automation is started where you can sync the lead towards a new contact inside of Airchatty. So I hope you like this video in a new series called Airchatty Fridays. And next week we will of course come with a new training video that allows you to dive much deeper into the native integration between the two platforms. If you have any questions, do let us know. Put them down in the video comment section down below and we'll try to respond as soon as possible. For now, have a great day. Take care and have a great weekend.